Welcome to Packet Pushers Demo Bytes, and today we've got Live Action, and they're going to show off the LiveNX product and how it can help you with your SD-WAN deployment, how it can make your life better. We've got Ron Grew with us. Ron, I know we're talking about SD-WAN deployment lifecycle. That's really the role that LiveNX is going to play for us here. Can you walk us through what you mean by that, the SD-WAN deployment lifecycle?
Certainly, our portfolio LiveNX plays into the whole SD-WAN development lifecycle to help visualize. Really, we're all about a day zero, day one, day two plan. So that helps us understand and baseline the performance of the SD-WAN, really optimizing applications across SD-WAN.
The idea here is if I'm rolling out SD-WAN, I've got a bunch of applications on my network. Live Action can tell me what the applications are in the traffic mix, and then I can figure out from that data how to lay out my SD-WAN, what my policies should be, and so on.
Absolutely. Without a day zero plan, you really have no idea what to compare to. So it really helps you understand what the current state of the network is to performance optimize to create those policies exactly.
Okay, so I've got a day zero with my plan. I've got a day one. I'm going to build the whole thing together based on that planning information. And then day two, I'm running the show. I'm going to use LiveNX to help me see that everything is working as intended.
Not only that, it'll help you troubleshoot when there's a problem. You'll know what to fix. So if you really don't know what your network is like currently, you have no idea on what to compare it to. So it's really going to be a difficult thing to troubleshoot in the future when a problem is on the network and everybody's blaming the network.
All right, Ron, this sounds like fun. Show me the interface, man. Let's get to the good stuff.
All right. The very first thing we need to do to look at SD-WAN is to understand our network as it is today. And this really helps you. LiveNX builds an automatic audit of your network it's just a one-click report to help you understand exactly what's out there, where the traffic is, how it's prioritized, how much of it is on your network. And we can action down to any of this data that we're collecting. So just by right-clicking, I can drill down and look at all the conversations for a particular application. So I can see exactly what's going on. This is helping me build my baseline. This is really what's going to be fundamental and important to understand how to performance optimize SD-WAN.
Now, performance optimized, we're talking about making sure that our traffic, as we push it into an SD-WAN tunnel and out the other side, has the jitter characteristics, latency characteristics, retransmission that we need for that application to successfully traverse the fabric. Is that what we're getting at?
Correct. Yes. Not only understanding that from a tunnel perspective, but also understanding how that application performs over that overlay topology. Right. So here we're actually baselining the application as it moves across the network, regardless of the underlay. We're going to be able to see how long it takes an application, how much time is spent on the client, how much time is spent on the server, and how much delay is within the application. And then look at those transports to see things like packet loss, jitter, and delay across those transports.
Okay, something just struck me. If you know as LiveNX that level of detail, you're mining packets off the network. This isn't just flow data. There's packet data
That's
here
right.
that you're seeing.
That's correct. Yeah, it's very important that you have packets to perform the measurements on that application data. All right, so LiveNX is not actually consuming the packet data. LiveNX is just consuming the metadata from those packet analyzers, right? So it's your central source to tell you where we're getting those measurements from.
Got it. All right. So with this level of information, Ron, where do I go next?
So from a top level, when we're deploying SD-WAN, we really want to take that information and understand what our day one looks like, right? So we've put in SD-WAN in there. We want to see exactly what's going on in the network within specific overlay paths. So this is my application traffic going across the network in real time, right? We can see exactly which path it's taking, how it's prioritized, and what applications those are. We can drill in from any of these paths down to that information and see what those measurements are. So when we're developing our policies, we want to validate things like packet loss, jitter, latency across those specific links. And what I can do is I can filter a specific part of that. So if I know an underlay interface that I want to hit, or maybe a specific device or service provider link, LiveNX will give me that context, right? Help me drill into that specific context.
Okay, this is important. You're showing me not just the overlay information, traffic went into a tunnel and then it came out the other side, but also you have knowledge of the underlay that traffic is riding, or that tunnel is riding over the top of.
Correct.
There's another detail here that's kind of important too, Ron. I'm noticing it says VeloCloud on here. And just to be clear, for those of you watching, LiveAction is not an SD-WAN vendor, but you support not just VeloCloud, but several SD-WAN vendors, right?
That's correct. It really is a multi-vendor solution. So here's another example or another dashboard where we have Fortinet. We also do Cisco. We also do Palo Alto and others, right? So it's multi-vendor.
And so you have specific knowledge of all of these platforms to be able to interpret their SD-WAN hardware, whatever their edge devices are, and you can read the physical layer, what's going on below, and then the overlay data on top, and you can differentiate between all of those?
Exactly. So we can see exactly where traffic is flowing on the underlay side with using SNMP and flow metrics, which is pretty standard. And then we also do incorporate some APIs in the back end to understand very specific measurements on the overlay fabric. And sometimes that's buried within the flow data as well. We couple that in with our packet analyzers, which basically can sit anywhere in the path. They could be in line between the SD-WAN device at the edge or in the data center or in the cloud. And collecting the flow, the packet data and converting it to flow helps us complete the picture of that path.
You got to show me this, Rod. You got to show me the path. If we can break it down element by element, let's see that.
Absolutely. Let's dive in. So one of the things I can do from very top level is either by application, or maybe I'm looking at a specific underlay transport that I want to take a look at. Maybe my concern is all the traffic going to and from the firewall, or maybe between the head-in router, or maybe it's a branch that I want to take a look at. In this case, I'm going to look at a specific application, and I'm going to focus in on that application, see what the performance is of that application. So here I see some voice traffic having some issues. TCP application in our corporate network that has a problem. When I click on that and drill in, LiveNX is going to show me exactly the path that application takes. It's going to show me exactly where that application is breaking down. So this is very helpful for troubleshooting and also validating our SLAs across both overlay and underlay paths. And so from a very, very high level, we have a good picture, solid understanding of where my performance problems are, can see which locations are having those issues, and we can drill right down into that. And I notice that there's only 2 milliseconds of network delay, whereas we have a lot of application delay in this case, right? So we really want to track down exactly where that is. LiveNX is going to point me in the direction of where we see that.
I love this one because of how many application sorts of questions come my way as a network engineer, where it's like, what did you do to the network? The app is slow today. And it's like, it's not me, man. And there's the screen that says it's not me. Look, 2 millisecond network delay, but the database backend or whatever is introducing all kinds of application delay.
Right. And often is the case where an application engineer doesn't believe you until you provide the packets as proof, right? Because the packets don't lie. So we can get you right into that. So I can go right down to that fabric and look at the underlay. So this is me drilling into that specific site now, not just looking at the measurements, but finding out exactly where those measurements are taking place. So you can see there's a picture of my data center. It's overlaying that application conversation. You can see at which points did it fail its SLAs, right? So whether it took the MPLS path or the internet path or the VPN path, SD-WAN doesn't really care, right? It's making these decisions at the WAN edge. And so now I can see exactly which path did it take. We can validate what that performance was, and I can drill right into even a specific conversation now. I know this is all app delay. If it was network delay and I'm a network engineer, I'm on the hook. But because this is application delay, right? I want to show this to an application owner where their application is breaking down. And we can look at it hop by hop and see exactly which device did it take. Did it go through the firewall? Did it go through a switch? Exactly which port did it go in and out on? So we can see the very first hop, as long as it's a layer 3 hop, because flow is by nature layer 3, right? So we can see it hitting this switch. Starts in a gigabit Ethernet 4, goes out Ethernet 2, and we can see exactly which QoS policy it chose to have, how busy that switch is. So we're also monitoring the state of that device at the time we did this flow trace. And again, we can do this flow trace for any period of time that we want. So if this was a problem that happened last week between 7 and 8 a.m., I'd be able to see exactly what happened at that period of time.
Hang on. There's history here. So how much history are we talking about, Ron?
It's up to the use case of the customer, however long they want to keep this data. We keep all the flow all the time, and they can store that for any length of time. I think the actual limit is 999 days.
Okay, when you say we store, does that mean this is like a SaaS offering, or am I running an appliance on premises?
Yes, you're running an appliance, and LiveNX is on-prem. Now you can host it in the cloud. So there is the ability to take LiveNX and install it in AWS, Azure, or Google, same as our LiveWires, right? So they can all be collecting data in the cloud, or you can have it hosted there, but it is an on-prem solution. So
okay, right. It is, so if I am hosting it in public cloud, it's not a SaaS. The point you're making is it's as a virtual appliance.
Correct.
Which tells me then the amount of history I have is how much disk I want to throw at the problem. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. All right. So this screen I love. It shows me hop by hop what's going on here. Now, am I seeing tunnels, and am I seeing overlay and underlay kind of mixed in this path? What am I? There's a lot of data here.
Exactly. So we started from an overlay fabric, or we start from a very high level dashboard. We drill in from that overlay and we get down to the underlay, right? So this is the underlay path, right? This is the actual physical layer that we are seeing along the way. And we see all of the metrics, both the network delay and the application delay. And notice the network delay, network guys should be happy with this one, right? All very low, which is what we want to see. And we can actually see at any point, if something happens, we can get them right down to the packet data as well. So we have a few LiveWire appliances on here that are doing the packet analysis, and they're essentially sending that flow data up to LiveNX. And I can drill right into the packet data right from here, see exactly what's going on.
Nice. So in a hop by hop scenario, if now in this demo, we're showing pretty low network delay, but would I be able to tell which hop is introducing the delay, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we would see that. It would colorize as a red indicator telling us which metric failed the SLA. And that depends on LiveNX's ability to tell you exactly where that is. In this case, it's application delay. So we see we've measured app delay along every point in the path, right? So because it's not a network problem per se, it's really not isolating a particular node, but let's just say application delay is fine, and there's just a switch dropping packets or retransmitting or causing jitter or something like that. It would light up red, so to speak, on that specific point, wherever all the other points would be green.
Gotcha. Okay. LiveNX does not do remediation. That is, this is a monitoring tool. It's telling me everything I would need to know so that I can make my own intelligent policy decisions. I'm using this as a data source to know how my SD-WAN fabric is performing. But again, it doesn't do remediation. That's right to say?
Yeah, we don't do the control. We basically give you the information or the visibility to help you control. Right. So from a remediation standpoint, LiveNX is actually going to do the alerting and the alarming and send that information to remediation tools, right? For example, we have integrations with ServiceNow, and I can take an alert and an alarm that happen over my application or my SD-WAN device, and we can send that out, and that information can be used for remediation.
Got it. Okay. Ron, this has been a very cool demo. I love tools like this, and this is robust. You guys as Live Action have been around a long time. I remember back in the very early days when it was just a QoS. Primarily, it was a QoS deployment tool,
Right.
and my how we've grown. So it's really great to see what Live Action and LiveNX is doing today, all up to date with the SD-WAN topologies. If people want to find out more, Ron, where should they go?
Well, they could certainly find a lot of information, liveaction.com. There's some great videos and lots of resources for learning, all on our website.
Excellent. LiveAction.com. Well, Ron, thank you very much for taking the time to show us LiveNX today. And our thanks to Live Action for sponsoring this Demo Bytes.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.